You're here because you want to get smart, fast, to kind of cut through the noise and understand what truly matters. Today, we're doing just that with a deep dive into some fresh news from the world of watches. The brand new Nomos Club Sport Neomatik Worldtimer.
Exactly. Yeah, we've basically taken all the initial buzz around this new release and, boiled it down to the essential info. Our goal is really to give you a clear picture of what makes this new Nomos tick, what it offers, and maybe why it might be interesting to you.
Okay, cool. Let's unpack this then. Now, Nomos, they're from Glashuda, right?
Yeah.
Which is like the heart of German watchmaking. They've got this very distinct, clean, almost Bauhaus style, And they've done multi-time zone watches before, haven't they? Like the Zurich Weltzeit, the Tangomat GMT. So how does this new Club Sport Neomatik Worldtimer fit in? What's different this time?
That's a really good place to start. Like you said, the Zurich Weltzeit with its city wing and the Tangomat GMT using airport codes, those have been their mainstays for travel time. What's interesting here, I think, is that Nomos is explicitly saying this Club Sport Neomatik Worldtimer is for a new generation of watch lovers wanting world time stuff. It kind of suggests they're aiming for maybe a more actively traveling or globally connected audience. What do you think makes it potentially more appealing to this new generation compared to the older ones, which were maybe a bit more formal?
That's a great question. Maybe it's the Club Sport name itself. It kind of hints at something maybe a bit tougher, less dressy than some of their other lines. So, okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. What are the basic specs, the must-knows?
All right, the essentials. The case is stainless steel. It measures 40.5 millimeters across, which is pretty wearable for most people. And it's only 9.9 millimeters thick. That's actually really slim for an automatic world timer. Sub 10 millimeter often means it slides under a cuff easily, which is nice for everyday wear. Water resistance is 100 meters, so, not for diving, but definitely handles daily life, splashes, swimming maybe.
Right, so it's practical.
Yeah.
What about the crystal on the crown? Those usually tell you something about the quality, don't they?
They do, yeah. Up front, you've got a domed sapphire crystal, and it has anti-reflective coating. That dome gives it a bit of a vintage vibe, maybe. But the AR coating is super practical, cuts glare, makes it easier to read. The back's also sapphire, so you can see the movement. And the crown, over at 3 o'clock, it screws down. That's key for the water resistance. It also has this little red ring that shows if it's unscrewed. Kind of neat. Plus, there's a pusher at 2 o'clock, just for adjusting the world time.
Oh, a dedicated pusher, just for the time zone. That sounds really handy, like no more endless crown twisting. Okay, let's talk about the dial then, the face of the watch. What are the looks, and how does this world time thing actually, show up?
Yeah, this is where it gets interesting for the user. The standard versions come in 2 flavors. A galvanized blue or a galvanized silver. Both have the sunburst finish. That finish gives the dial a nice texture, catches the light really well. The hour markers are a mix, some Arabic numerals, some stick indices, and they've all got white superluminova, so, it glows in the dark. Easy to read.
Good. Legibility is key. Now, the main event, the world time display. How's that work?
Okay, so around the edge of the dial, there's this rotating disc with airport codes for 24 time zones. Think JFK, LHR, HND, that sort of thing. The time zone you've currently selected sits up at 12 o'clock. Right next to that disc, just inside it, there's a fixed 24-hour ring. This ring basically shows you the time difference for all the other cities relative to the one you picked at 12. It's like a quick reference.
That sounds pretty intuitive. So if you have, say, London at 12, you can just glance at the ring and see what time it is in Tokyo or New York without doing math.
Exactly that. Yeah, it gives you a really quick visual snapshot of global time. But the dial does more than just world time. There's also a subdial over at 3 o'clock. What's that one for?
That's your home time tracker. It's a 24-hour subdial, which is super important, right? Tells you instantly if it's AM or PM back home. No more awkward middle-of-the-night calls. It also has a day-night indicator built in like a little two-tone disc, blue light, blue, or bluer, depending on the main dial. Really useful if you travel a lot or work across time zones.
Absolutely critical for staying grounded, yeah. And then finishing off the dial, the main hour and minute hands are rhodium-plated, also with superluminova. The hands for that home time subdial are either red or rhodium-plated, depends on the model. And there's a small seconds hand down at 6 o'clock, also rhodium-plated. Overall, it looks pretty clean and readable, considering all the info packed in there.
Okay, got it. So aesthetics and functions seem pretty well handled. Let's go deeper in the engine room. This watch uses a brand new in-house movement, the DUW 3202, right? What's the story there?
That's right, yeah. The Club Sport Neomatik Worldtimer runs on Nomos's newest automatic movement, the DUW3202. It's built on their Neomatik series, which is already known for being quite slim and efficient. This new one is 31 millimeters wide and just 4.8 millimeters thick, which definitely helps keep the whole watch thin. Power reserve is 42 hours. How does that 42 hours sound to you? Is that pretty standard these days, or competitive enough if you swap watches?
32 hours is, yeah, pretty respectable for an automatic. It means, like, take it off Friday night. It should still be ticking Sunday morning, probably. Good enough for most people, I'd say.
Yeah.
So what are the key tech bits in this new DUW3202? What makes it special, besides being new?
Well, one big thing is the stop seconds mechanism.
Right.
Lets you pull the crown and the second hand stop so you can set the time really precisely. But maybe even more important is that it uses Nomos's own in-house escapement and hairspring, their swing system.
Yeah.
Having that made in-house is a really big deal in watchmaking. It means Nomos controls the quality and precision much more directly, allows them to really tune performance.
Right. The swing system, I remember hearing about that. Nomos put a lot into developing it, I think.
Mm.
Beyond that, what about the finishing? Is it just functional, or does it look good, too, under that sapphire back?
Oh yeah, Nomos definitely cares about how their movements look, even the automatics. The DUW3202 has a rhodium-plated glasshet three-quarter plate and main plate. They're decorated with traditional glasshet ribbing and Nomos perlage, these nice finishing patterns. You also get tempered blue screws, which look great and are classic glasshet. And 37 joules to reduce friction. It's got a bidirectional rotor, so it winds itself efficiently, and it beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour. All signs of, proper craftsmanship, even at this price.
So it's not just what it does, but
Yeah.
how it's made and looks. Makes sense. Now, how does it actually work? It comes on a steel bracelet, right? What's that like?
Yep, the standard ones come on a stainless steel bracelet. It's a pretty classic three-link design. Has a mix of brushed and polished finishes, so it looks kind of sporty but still a bit refined. Comes with a deployant clasp, which is generally secure and comfortable, and a really practical touch. Quick change spring bars makes it super easy to swap the bracelet for a strap leather, fabric, whatever without needing tools. Quick change bars are always good for versatility, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Anything making it easier to change the look is a huge plus, yeah. Now, we talked standard models, but you mentioned limited editions, too, that Club Sport name and those edition names, Volcano, Jungle, Canyon.
Yeah.
They sound pretty adventurous. Tell us about those.
Right. This is where Nomos adds some real color and personality. Besides the blue and silver, they've got these 6 limited editions. And the names Volcano, Jungle, Canyon, Glacier, Magma, Dune are really evocative, like you said. What makes them different are these really bold dial colors. Noma says they're inspired by adventure and travel. So imagine like rich, saturated colors reflecting those places. Volcano might be reds and oranges, jungle, deep greens, that kind of thing.
Those names definitely paint a picture. Are there any other differences, like mechanics or case stuff? Or is it just the dial colors?
Nope, the core specs are all the same across the board. Same case size, same DUW3202 movement, same bracelet option. The main difference in what makes them special is really just those unique, striking dial colors. And crucially, each of these 6 is limited to only 175 pieces. That's, pretty limited, definitely adds exclusivity, makes them more collectible.
Wow, only 175 each. That does make them rare. Definitely appealing for collectors, I bet. So, okay, putting it all together, new in-house movement, useful world time function, solid build, standard and limited designs.
Yeah.
What's the damage? What's the price?
Interestingly, whether you go for the standard blue or silver or one of the limited editions, the price is the same, 3,940 euros, which when you think about it, getting a brand new in-house world time movement plus the Nomos finishing and design, they're positioning it pretty competitively, I'd say. For a complication like this, that price feels, well, quite aggressive, actually. What other stuff competes around that price? Do you think the Nomos holds its own?
That's a good point. Yeah, around 4,000 euros. You might find GMTs from other brands, maybe some world timers, but with more generic bought-in movements. For a fully in-house world timer at this price, Nomos seems to be hitting a sweet spot. Okay, last thing. For listeners thinking about grabbing one, what's the availability?
Good news on the standard ones. The silver and blue dials are meant to be regular production, part of the permanent collection, so they should be around. But as we said, those 6 limited editions, Volcano, Jungle, Canyon, Glacier, Magma, Dune, they are strictly limited, 175 each. So if one of those bolder colors really grabs you, well, probably best not to wait too long.
All right, so let's wrap up this deep dive. We've looked closely at the new Nomos Club Sport Neomatik Worldtimer. It's a big step for Nomos, mixing their clean style with a useful world time feature, all run by that new in-house DUW 3202 movement. You've got the classic blue and silver options staying in the collection, plus those 6 really vibrant limited editions, all in a sporty but still kind of classy package, steel bracelet, and seems like a pretty compelling price for what you're getting.
Precisely. Yeah, Nomos is showing, again, they can blend form and function really nicely, make something that's both good-looking and technically solid.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Our world is so connected now. We cross time zones all the time, physically or just virtually online. A watch that just easily tracks multiple times at once. It feels relevant. More than just telling time. It's kind of a nod to how global things are. Does having something like this Nomos on your wrist, does that idea connect with your own travels or just your awareness of the world out there? Definitely something to chew on.